We have updates on Anthropic's leaked Mythos model, and it's getting more interesting. OpenAI's GPT-6 is closer than people think, and there are some early hints at what's inside it. DeepSeek version 4 has a real challenge on its hands, so let's get into all of it. So Anthropic accidentally leaked their next flagship model, and what came out is pretty significant. A configuration error in their content management system left close to 3,000 unpublished internal assets sitting in a publicly searchable data store with no authentication required. Security researchers found it, Fortune reviewed it, and inside was a draft blog post describing a model called Claude Mythos. Anthropic didn't get to announce this on their own terms, they just had to confirm it. And what they confirmed is notable. The draft described Mythos as by far the most powerful model Anthropic has ever built. The company called it a steep change, said it has meaningful advances in reasoning, coding, and cybersecurity, and acknowledged that they're currently testing it with a small group of early access customers. It's not just an Opus update either. Mythos represents an entirely new tier above Opus, internally referred to as Capybara, and it scores dramatically higher than Claude Opus 4.6 across coding, academic reasoning, and cybersecurity benchmarks. To put that into perspective, Opus 4.6 already leads the industry on software engineering bench. Mythos is apparently well above that. The cybersecurity angle is where things get a bit more serious. The leaked draft described Mythos as currently far ahead of any other AI model in cyber capabilities, and it warned that it presages an upcoming wave of models that can exploit vulnerabilities in ways that outpace defenders. That's Anthropic's own language about their own model, privately briefing US government officials about it. Now here's the part that most people aren't focusing on. The reason Mythos doesn't have a public release date isn't because it's not ready capability-wise, it's because it's too expensive to run. The model is so compute intensive that Anthropic has said it needs to become much more efficient before any general release. They've essentially built something they can't yet afford to serve at scale. Some people are pointing out this is basically Anthropic admitting the release is blocked by economics, not quality. Others are saying if Mythos ever goes live, everyone's going to burn through their usage limits in minutes given how heavy it is. And then there's a take going around that Anthropic might not even release it before their IPO, that keeping it in the background is actually useful for building hype going into a public offering. Whether that's true or not, what's clear is that the capability exists. The bottleneck right now is infrastructure, not research, and technically that's a good position for any AI lab to be in. Before we continue, we just launched the Universe of AI newsletter. If you want to stay on top of AI news without having to hunt for it, link is in the description. Don't miss out. And the infrastructure problem that Anthropic has kind of leads into why OpenAI might have a real short-term advantage right now, because they have something coming too. There are early rumors, and worth flagging these are unverified, but they're circulating widely enough to pay attention to OpenAI. OpenAI has apparently finished pre-training their next major model. Some people are calling them GPT 5.5. I think it should be called GPT-6, internally codenamed Spud. Sam Altman told staff to expect a very strong model shipping within weeks, one that he could really accelerate the economy with. That's a notable thing to say internally. And to free up the compute needed to run it, OpenAI has killed Sora entirely, even at the cost of losing Disney's billion-dollar investment. That tells you how much they're prioritizing this. What makes Spud different from recent OpenAI releases is that this isn't a fine-tune or an incremental update on existing architecture. It has completed pre-training from scratch, meaning a brand new foundation model, new architecture, new data mix, a new scale completely. Greg Brockman's scaling team is running it, and Altman himself reportedly stepped back from safety oversight to focus on data center build-out and supply chains. Everything at OpenAI right now is pointed at getting this out the door. On the capability side, early signals suggest it's designed as a natively omnimodal system, meaning it handles text, images, audio, and more in a unified way rather than bolted together. There are also rumors around extremely long context handling, with some leaks suggesting a 2 million token context window. For reference, that's the kind of scale where you're not just chatting with the model, you're feeding it entire codebases, legal libraries, research archives. First-pass image generations are apparently already surfacing in AI arenas, which hints at testing being further along than most people realize. One person making a sharp observation about all of this pointed out that what you're seeing from both labs right now is actually the same signal. Anthropic can't efficiently serve agentic workloads on TPUs, OpenAI is throwing every GPU it has at Spud and killing products to free up capacity. The models are ready, the software is ready, the hardware isn't keeping up. And the argument goes that the race isn't really about who builds the best model anymore, it's about who can actually serve it at scale. That's where OpenAI's Microsoft relationship becomes a real structural advantage. Dedicated infrastructure, purpose-built for their workloads. If Spud lands the way the internal framing suggests, and Anthropic is still working through its compute constraints, there's a window where OpenAI pulls ahead on what actually matters to enterprise customers, which is reliability and availability, not just benchmark scores. Worth watching closely over the next few weeks what both of these labs do. While all that is happening on the model side, OpenAI also just dropped something that when you look at it in the context of everything else going on, feels like it might be telling us something bigger. GPT version 2 is being leaked, and the reaction has been pretty notable, not just because the images look good, but because of what the model appears to actually understand about the world. The demos that caught people's attention weren't just aesthetic. Someone ran the prompt, average engineer screen, and got back a convincingly rendered desktop setup. Another prompt was a young woman taking a selfie with Sam Altman, and the output looked like a real photograph. Then someone prompted, poster hall at Neuro IPS 2025, and got back a scene that looked like an actual academic conference with readable text on the posters. People were telling others to zoom in specifically because the text rendering is at a level image generation hasn't really been at before. The YouTube interface example is probably the clearest demonstration of what's actually happening here. The prompt was just screen grab of an A116Z podcast on YouTube, and what came back had the YouTube UI rendered accurately. Time steps, subscriber count, video chapters, the whole thing. The surrounding interface, the text, the structure, all accurate. The faces weren't obviously perfect, which is still a well-known weak point, but everything around them was. Someone put it well by saying, we went from models that could handle one subject to models that can ingest an entire web page of information and reconstruct it at a 90% accuracy, and we're treating them as a casual update. Now here's where it gets interesting in the context of what we were just talking about. There are 3 new image models sitting in the LM Arena right now for blind testing, codenamed masking tape, packing tape, and gaffer tape. OpenAI running multiple variants simultaneously and stress testing them against each other is exactly what you would expect to see if they were finalizing something much larger. Because a model that genuinely knows what Neuro IPS poster hall looks like or can reconstruct a YouTube interface from memory isn't just a better image generator, that's a model with fundamentally different kind of world knowledge embedded in it. And if that level of understanding is showing up in the image model right now, it raises a reasonable question about what's actually inside Spud. These image models don't exist in isolation. They tend to reflect the capability of whatever foundation they're sitting on. It might just be a standalone image upgrade, but the timing, alongside everything else OpenAI is quietly moving, makes it worth watching closely. And while all of this is playing out between Anthropic and OpenAI, there's a third player that we haven't talked about yet. DeepSeek version 4 is coming, and the conversation around it has shifted in an interesting way. When DeepSeek first burst onto the scene, it was a genuine shock, a Chinese lab releasing a model that competed with the best American labs at a fraction of the cost. It rattled markets, it changed how people thought about the compute advantage the US had been assuming was a permanent moat. The efficiency story was real and people took it seriously. But the landscape has moved fast, and the challenge DeepSeek version 4 faces now is that the bar it needs to clear is dramatically higher than it was when version 3 dropped. There's a sentiment building in the AI community that the expectations for DeepSeek version 4 might actually be higher than they were for GPT-5. That's a difficult position to be in. You went from being the underdog that shocked everyone to being the model that has to somehow shock everyone again, except now everyone is paying attention and the competition has had time to respond. The efficiency angle that made DeepSeek so compelling is also getting harder to lean on. OpenAI and Anthropic have both been aggressively investing in exactly the kinds of optimization that close that gap. Spud is being built from a completely new foundation. Mythos is so capable that the problem is no longer quality, it's serving costs. The American labs didn't ignore what DeepSeek was doing. They absorbed it and kept moving. There's also a structural challenge that doesn't go away, regardless of how good version 4 is. Export controls on advanced chips haven't loosened. The hardware ceiling that DeepSeek operates under is real, and while they've been remarkably creative in working around it, there are limits to how far algorithmic efficiency can compensate for raw compute access when your competitors are spending tens of billions of dollars on infrastructure. Some people think that the right move for DeepSeek is just to ship version 4 and iterate quickly, treating it like a software release cadence rather than waiting for a single dramatic moment. Get 4.1, 4.2, 4.3 out fast and build momentum that way rather than trying to manufacture another watershed moment. Whether they can pull that off and whether that model itself delivers, we'll find out soon. But the window where DeepSeek was the story everyone was chasing has gotten a lot more narrower. But that's it for today's video. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel, follow our new newsletter as well at universeofai.beehive.com, as well as subscribe to the main channel World of AI, and support us on X by following the Universe of AIZ as well. Until then, I'll see you guys in the next video.